52 books today. It's the smallest pile so far this year. We are moving into 2011, and by this point in time, I was very heavily into a project, and I was doing less and less reading during this particular time period. So, my vengeance for books this year is going to be great. I'm going to be out buying hundreds of books this year. If I can ever figure out a way to make the D. Louise book series wish list on Amazon available, to be seen by other people, maybe some of you can help me fulfill my shelves back here. There's about 200 books on it already. Most of them, I'd say 90+% of them are mass markets, so you could probably get them in thrift stores and stuff. But I'm trying here. So this is a small pile. There's about 52. There's a couple that don't have pictures and I don't have books for, but they're huge authors and I can't go without mentioning them. So anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina, KRISTINA. This is where we read books and talk about books. There's no special effects, no special lighting. This is a black shirt, by the way, and it doesn't look black in my lighting. So if you could please check out my Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Fridays. Also my If Then podcast on Friday afternoons. If you like this author, then maybe you'll like that author. We started out with the Bridgertons. If you like Julia Quinn's Bridgertons, then maybe you like Joanna Lindsay's Mallory, Stephanie Lawrence's Sinsters, and Catherine Coulter's Sherbrooks. I also did a homicide one, an FBI one, a forensics one, a Scotland Yard one, Native American Indian Hillerman type books that no one has watched. I did a vampire one that no one has watched. I was very proud of myself, and I explained the whole reason behind the video. I did on Black authors, why I did it, and we'll probably be seeing those books again in future videos as I explained in that video. But I tried to do a variety of vampire, paranormals, contemporary romance, science fiction, the whole 9 yards. And again, YouTube hasn't shown it to anybody, so no one has seen it. So if you could please check all those out and my daily book reviews. We are doing James Patterson's Alex Cross series. We're almost to the end of Victoria Thompson's Gaslight series. We gotta wait a whole new year. And J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood. And of course, my daily book reviews and Flashback Monday, where we talk about all the books reviewed in this magazine. I usually try and do at least 5 from each subject. Historical romance, contemporary romance, mystery, suspense, paranormal, erotica, inspirational, mainstream. I try to do a few from each. There are 52 books this specific instance. And lots of pictures this time because I don't know if you've known or not, if you've checked in my videos, my computer is being held together by a binder clip. And I am thinking I might need another one. If anybody knows an L bracket maybe, because the monitor part is moving backwards from the keyboard. So not only am I holding this 2-part, but I'm going to need one for here too. So let's get started with December 2010. This is one of their smallest ones, 216. They usually do at least 250. So another reason for a small pile. And we are going to be talking about quite a few of these ladies. I can read this magazine forever. I have been reading this magazine forever. And way back when, I do not know why, and it's bothering the heck out of me, but I used to mark it. You can't see it, but it says have. There's a lot of books in here that I gave away that I'm totally, absolutely 100% regretting I gave them away, and I want them all back. So it's going to take me a while to gather them all up again. They're not as available as they used to be. So our fan forum pick is the non-fiction pick of the month. Time for Kids, Big Book of Why, 1000 Facts. I had noticed when I was watching my videos that I was going like this and coming back, and you never actually had a chance to look at it. So now I'm counting to 10 when I show pictures, because I was realizing that I was like this, and well, that didn't help, did it? So, 'tis the season for giving. This is a December issue, and especially for giving to the children in your life. Time for Kids, a youth version of the Venable magazine, which is distributed in classrooms from kindergarten through 6th grade, has 2 tomes for the curious kid on your holiday list. I bet it's not distributed today. Most of the classrooms I've been in, there's no books, there's no blackboard, they're doing 100% computer work. Like, even their gym, and they do health at the same time. This was a lower grade, and they were teaching fruits and vegetables, and they were combining it with gym class. So you would move this way if it was a fruit, and this way if it was a vegetable, and that was their gym class. It was all, what is that, PlayStation? So Big Book of Why contains 1,000 facts and answers to questions kids commonly ask and adults can rarely answer. As the Time for Kids editors put it, put the answers go beyond basic replies, providing background graphics and photos to bolster such paranormals as why is the sky blue? What's the difference between a crocodile and an alligator? Written for grades 8 and up, Big Book of Why is divided into subject areas such as animals and environment, nature, technology, space, and science. What do you think? What if it's still available today? Oh, I like the poll. They have a poll. I tried putting out a poll the other day. I had, as the last time I looked, it had 1 response. So you could go check out that poll that YouTube has shown to nobody. Will you be buying or receiving an electronic reader this season? 16% said yes, 84% said no. And then the editor notes that the reason people said no was because they already owned one. So, we did this book last. I'm pretty sure we did it last. Let me just look. All the sections are color coded. Historical fiction is pink, and inspirational is red, and teen is purple, and science fiction is green, romantic suspense is orange, and contemporary romance is green too. I just wanted to look. Nope. So it was the last magazine. Just a second. Let me look. Oh, I've got to get rid of this hair. It's still wet. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Sandy. How's my girl? Oh, fresh from a shower, all squeaky clean. Okay. Where's my glasses? Oh, here we go. I love this magazine. I love it. So there's this big article. Now, I have a ton of Lisa Calipris's books. Ton of them. But they're all, I could bring them out, but they're all regencies. This, what they're talking about in here, is a contemporary romance. Now she does both Regencies and contemporary romance, and I'm a Regency person, so those are the ones I have. But this is With Love from Lisa Calipis. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this book was reviewed in the last magazine, so I thought I would show it again since they're doing this big huge article. Christmas Eve at Friday Harbor. Let's see, it got 4.5 stars. Calipis can do no wrong. If you want a fantastic read, pick up this poignant, heartbreaking, and deeply satisfying book. Calipis has a knack for making readers cry, laugh, and cheer, often within the first couple of pages. So that was like the review. Then we've got her letter in here to fans. Dear friends, a couple of years ago, my husband Greg dragged our family to San Juan Island for a weekend getaway. You could practically see the pair of trenches my heels had dug from the front door to the car. Usually I love going on these trips, especially when our destination is so close, in this case an hour-and-a-half ferry ride from the coast of Washington State where we live, and the vacation is affordable, theoretically affordable. San Juan Island is one of those places where you can go cheap, but you're seduced by so many spectacular restaurants and charming shops and craft stands featuring homemade sea glass necklaces or hats knitted from wool garnered from local Apaches that you end up massively blowing your budget. On that particular weekend, however, I was tired and stuff had piled up around the house, and I had 2,000 things to do on my to-do list. I made a very strong case for staying home, but Greg and the kids looked so objectively wistful that I gave in. As we were on this 85-car ferry that goes from the Port Anchors to Friday Harbor, Greg, the kids, and I positioned ourselves in the upper deck seating area beside a huge glass window so we could watch the islands pass in serene procession. Of course, I know we're actually doing the gliding, but the ferry is so heavy and steady that all movements seem entirely exterior. Some of the San Juan Islands are so small you can barely park a GMC Yukon on them. The largest islands are San Juan, Orcas Shore, and Lopez. I believe about 80,000 residents here are on San Juan. The ferry slows to afford everyone a view of a pod of orcas off the starboard, and my jaw drops at the sight of the black fins slapping the horizon. So that's the start of what she wrote here. Christmas at Friday Harbor. Christmas at Friday Harbor. So I just thought I'd bring that up. There's a huge big article, like I said, in here. So I bring that up. So I have 4 of these. I was gonna go get one and I didn't make it, but these work better on a hardcover than they do. You can't use them on a paperback, but or what you do is you get a bunch of if you're sitting in bed, get a bunch, curl up your blankets, scrunch up your blankets, clip your blankets, and then hang the light over the book so you can read, so that you can have a real book but light, so that if your husband is sleeping or your spouse is sleeping, then you can still read the book in the dark. I used to do that a lot. I have about 6 of those around the house. They were really cheap when I bought them. They weren't that expensive at all. So let's get going with I was gonna grab a few of his books and I forgot, so forgive me on that one. But this Stephen J. Cannell did a lot. He was like, he owned the 80s. He owned the 80s on TV. He did the A-Team. He did 21 Jump Street. He did Hunter. He was a little bit involved with Patterson's with Castle, but Stephen J. Cannell. He was one of the authors that showed up for the poker game in Castle. So they do a big, huge article on him. I should have grabbed some of his books. But they have some writing tips in here. They're talking about a convention. You know how you have sci-fi conventions and Star Wars and Star Trek? Well, we used to have book conventions too. I think there's... Now the next one, there'll be pictures in the back of it of the conventions. Oh, look, I missed a few. Okay, so look at all these historical romances. Look at all those books. You know, none of the magazines today do all of these books. The page, the book page, the bookmark. There's Mystery Scene out there too. I did a if then, just for the hell of it. It was one of the earlier ones I did, comparing all the magazines and telling you why this one is the best, because this one covers the books we'll actually read. In this month's bookmark, I think, they're covering The Black Candle again. I did a review on that, I think it was last year. Search my channel for Black Candle. When I picked that book up, I thought it was going to be a voodoo paranormal type situation. And it is a little bit, but it turned out to be a generational relationship book between great-grandmother, grandmother, mother, and the kid. It's a very interesting book. You should check that out. So that was one of my Black authors too. So Karen, where'd it go? So most of these books, I was like, I own that. I own that. I go looking for it. I can't find it. So it's been one of those. It's been one of those weeks here, not being able to find everything. I need to redo all my books. I need to reorganize everything. I haven't done it in a very, very long time. I need to do it. One Night in Scotland. Karen Hawkins. Let's count. 1, 2, 1 Night in Scotland, Karen Hawkins. 4.5 stars. And most of the books, there's a couple 3s, but the majority of the books I review in this magazine, I've tried to stick to at least 4 or 4.5. There are a couple of 3s though, because they're prominent authors. Known for her quick, moving, humorous, and poignant stories, Hawkins begins the Hearst Amulet series with a keeper. Readers will be delighted by the perfect pacing, the humorous dialogue, and the sizzling sensual romance. Highly respected Egyptologist Michael Hearst is being held captive by an Egyptian. The ransom, an ancient artifact believed to have been stolen generations ago. With her other brother gone, the very modern Mary Hearst must retrieve the artifact from Michael's friend Angus Hay, Earl of Earl, who is examining it. Mary is met with suspicion and subterfuge. When she arrives at the castle, Angus calls home and is essentially held prisoner in a gilded suite until his arrival. As her determination, creativity, and persona impress Angus, she is drawn to him despite his arrogance and stubbornness. Sparks fly. The tumultuous climax proves to be the greatest surprise and a gift to them both. Okay. KRAMER. Kieran KRAMER, Dukes to the Left of Me. And that's only half the title. Dukes to the left of me, princesses to the right. Right there. 1, 2, 3. 4.5 stars. KRAMER's captivating Impossible Bachelor series returns with another memorable, well-crafted, deftly plotted story as enchanting and romantic as the first. There is a great joy in her storytelling and titles that compel readers to smile and laugh with her characters. You'll be up all night until the satisfying conclusion of this delicious romance. As a member of the Spinsters Club, Lady Poppy Smith Barnes is happy. To deter suitors, she's invented a pretend fiancé based on her cook's outrageous tale of the Duke of Drummond. This ruse enables her to wait until her childhood sweetheart, Prince Sergei, arrives from Russia. Everything is perfect until the Duke himself appears. Nicholas Staunton, one of Prinny's notorious bachelors and spy, is pleased that Poppy is his betrothed. He will no longer be a target for matchmaker mamas desperate debutantes, enabling him to keep his work secret. But claiming Poppy meshes him in a wild adventure until Nicholas Poppy believes Sergei was the only man she could love. But a fiancé is irresistible. Their adventure leads to a painting uncovering the identity of a spy and undying passion. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Somebody wants my attention today. Casey Michaels, How to Wed a Baron. How to Wed a Baron. 4.5 stars. Drawing on her intimate knowledge of the era, Michaels crafts a thrilling, crafty adventure romance that weaves a fascinating, what might have been historical backdrop with actual details of the time. To top it off, she includes characters from her previous titles. This truly unforgettable Regency is as much about trust, friendship, and the healing power of love as it is about passion. I always like character progression. Haunted by guilt and plagued by his past work for the crown, Baron Justin Wilde is trapped in Prinny's web. To earn his pardon, he must marry the young, innocent Lady Magdalena Valentina, half English, half Romany. All angel, outwardly obedient, Elena uses her betrothal as means to flee her jealous aunt. She is fascinated by him and wants to learn all of his secrets, but love has no time to grow as Elena is the target of a powerful nobleman and Justin must protect her. Kathy Maxwell, his Christmas. Alright, let's back up here. Lorraine Heath. Okay. Look what you can find when you look in the right place. So that was the first one we did. I can't believe I just found it. Okay. Apparently I didn't locate all my books. So we're up to Lorraine Heath. Pleasures of a Notorious Gentleman, 4.5 stars. Another of London's greatest lovers meets his match, allowing consummate storyteller Heath to enliven a touching romance with his unique personality. Fast-paced, intriguing, emotionally intense, this novel is beautiful and heart-rending. Stephen Lyons, the family bad boy, returns from the Crimean War without any memories of his years away from home. He can still seduce beautiful women, but he doesn't know if he redeemed himself. That's why he can't tell the lovely nurse, Mercy Donovan, that he doesn't remember her when she arrives with his son in her arms. After a harrowing experience in the Crimean, Stefan comforted Mercy, and she fell in love with him. Hearing he died on the battlefield, she brings his son to a family unaware that he really survived. Stefan decides to marry Mercy, hoping he will remember the past. This is what Mercy dreamed about, but she fears that once Stefan remembers her dreams will turn to dust and their newfound love will be destroyed. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can I help you? Kathy Maxwell, his Christmas pleasure. Max, 4.5 stars. Maxwell is a master of combining poignancy and charming characters with humor, as well as sensuality with tenderness in this tale of holiday wonder. She is the miracle worker. Come here, come here. Let mommy read to you. Abigail Montrose has been jilted and now she is now to be married off to a man with 13 children. So when dashing Andrea's Baron de Vesicount offers a chance to escape, she grabs it. The illegitimate son of a Spanish nobleman, Andres has just acquired a country estate, but he must leave London immediately or forfeit his property to the husband of his latest lover. The rogue would do anything for his own land, and Abigail has the money he needs. Though it is to be a marriage of convenience, each is far too tempted by the other not to make the marriage a passionate union. They are perfectly matched and fit into their small community until the man Abigail once loved threatened their happiness. Andres must put aside his pride, Abigail must trust him, and her father must realize his little girl has grown up before the holiday can bring them together. His Christmas pleasure. What's this last one? CATHRYN CASKIE. The Duke's Knight. Knight of Sin. The second one, the purple. The Duke's Knight of Sin. Four stars. The fan favorite Seven Deadly Sins are back in a capture your heart romance. Susan Sinclair embodies the sin of sloth and unknowingly follows her father's dictum to make something of her life. Whether you met the Sinclairs or not, you'll adore this enchanting, beautifully rendered love story. On the anniversary of her fiance's death, when she's at her most vulnerable, a stranger enters the library and takes Susan Sinclair in his arms. She surrenders, neither sees the other, but the passion between them is magical. Fleeing the night of pleasures, Susan finds work as a teacher. Though she's never worked a day in her life, she is remarkably adept at it and adores her student Gemma. But Gemma's guardian, the Duke of Exeter, infuriates her with their daily battles of wills. Beneath the surface of their hate lies a desire that eventually explodes. Let's see what happens there. Duchess of Sin, Laurel McKee. Duchess of Sin. Ah, 4 stars. The story is peopled with fascinating characters, including a young, impulsive, yet mature and brave heroine. It is also an emotional secondary romance. It's painless, imparts much of the history of Ireland in this time, and readers will be eager to read the final story in McKee's Daughters of Erin trilogy. Lady Anna Blacknell has no desire to marry, though Callen McTeer, the Duke of Adair, intrigues her. He was involved with the ambush 2 years ago of her brother-in-law Regiment, and Anna doesn't trust him but can't deny an attraction. They meet at a masked ball at an exclusive scandalous club, and Colin sends her running home with a kiss. As they become involved, she has a dilemma. Does she ally herself with Cullen or take the opportunity safer route and marry his cousin? No, 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 no. Beverly Jenkins, Midnight, right there. 4 stars. Pre-Revolutionary War Boston. Premier writer Jenkins delivers a thrilling, sensual novel that brims over with history, passion, and most of all, her signature wit and unforgettable characters. She always illuminates history in new ways and gives readers another perspective. Nicholas Gray returns to Boston to discover his father has died at the hands of the British after receiving a warning from a mysterious woman spy known as Lady Midnight. Nicholas vows to avenge his father's death, but first he must find the lady. No one would suspect the Tory tavern owner's daughter, Faith Kingston, of treason, but she is a fierce believer in freedom and the work of the Sons of Liberty. She has a friend in Nicholas's father, but the dashing adventuresome poses a threat to her. Their personal mission collide, compelling them to join forces, and their growing desire is more dangerous than the coming war. Emery Lee, highest stakes. New author spotlight, highest stakes right here. 4 stars. Lee's debut novel is a sweeping tale of romance, betrayal, intrigue, and the power of true love. Readers will love the well-rounded, engaging characters, the fast pace, and the attention to detail. Though a few scenes are overly descriptive, the extra details do not detract from the overall enjoyment. Charlotte Wallace was orphaned at a young age, placed in her uncle's care. She discovered a passion for horses and horse racing. More importantly, she found the love of her life, Robert Devington, a groom in her uncle's stables. Prompted by his love for Charlotte, Robert enters the army in hopes of proving his worthiness to her uncle. When the young lovers are torn apart, Robert's persistence and Charlotte's devotion to the true love will prevail. Now, I had an issue with this one. This next one. Oh, wait a minute. Let's go back up. Let's do this other one first. Allison Chase, outrageously yours. And then we'll get to the other one. Outrageously yours. 4 stars. Chase showcases her talent for creating unique mystery romances in Her Majesty's Secret Service installment. This mystery is exciting, the romance drawing, and Chase writing engrossing. Here's a novel for those who crave an out-of-the-ordinary read. When a rare stone given to Victoria by her beloved Albert disappears, she calls on her childhood friend Ivy Sutherland to discover if the stone is in the laboratory of Simon Dubrow, Marquis of Harrow. Disguised as science student Ned Ivers, Ivy proves herself admirable assistant to the reclusive Marquis. Simon is pleased to have an intelligent student who understands electromagnetic until he unmasks Ivy. Though he realizes Ivy must end the masquerade and return to her home, he agrees to help her to find the stone. Their attraction grows as Ivy realizes Simon as passionate about her as he is about science. Okay. So let me get to this other one here. It didn't work for me for a number of reasons. I know she's an extremely popular author. Even today, we sell her stuff like it's going out of style in the bookshop. She is a very, I've read some of her stuff and it just doesn't sit with me. But this is just, it's out there. It's very, very out there. It just doesn't sit with my idea of what the situation should be. I totally understand if my view is, narrow, but see all those up there? Those are my views. All of those. 90% of those are vampires up there. Um, those are my views of what a vampire should be and when a vampire should be. And yeah, all right, they do exist during this time period, but most of us readers assume they're in Europe or something, or the cities or something. Um, so Heather Graham takes a vampire and puts him in the Civil War. Although, now that I think about it, the Salvatore brothers were in the Civil War too. So now that I think about it. But Heather Graham, Night of the Vampires. And they gave it 4 stars. It takes place between 1862 and 1864 in West Virginia. Graham's unique tale cleverly blends Civil War history, vampire myth, and lore, and coarse, heart-pounding romance. It is perfect for those who love intricate historical details, lush scenery, and an old-fashioned romance. Half vampire, half human, Megan Fox searches for her long-lost brother's lands. Long-lost brother lands her deep in the middle of the Civil War, where she joins forces with a brother and his soldier friends. One friend in particular, Cole Granger, isn't quite as willing to trust her as the others. With enemies all around, she can't blame him for his suspicions. However, her deep attraction to the man and her commitment to justice put them together. Can she earn his trust? We'll see. Hannah Howell. Bunch of the ones I gave away that I want back. Highland Protector. Just trying to do that. 4 stars. 1479 Scotland. Howell's latest novel features another smart, strong, and stubborn heroine who's able to deal with political intrigues as well as the inner battles. She brings members of the Murray clan from past books, including the hero's parents from Highland Vale, into the story. Elizabeth Armstrong overhears the patrols discussing a plot to overthrow the King James III and frame her for the murder of the king's cousin. She runs to Sir Simon Eames, who known as the King's Hound, a man to ferret out the truth no matter what. He decides that he will keep her under his roof until he finds the truth. With the King's Guard hunting for her, Elizabeth penchant for trouble, and too often Simon's quiet home is thrown into turmoil. Simon's quiet home is thrown into turmoil, add their undeniable attraction to one another, and Simon's job becomes complicated. When Elizabeth is arrested, it is up to Simon to put an end to things and expose the traitors. We'll see what happens there. A most scandalous engagement. 4 stars. Continuing the tale of a scandalous wager concerning the infamous painting of a woman in a gentleman's club, CALLEN gives readers more clues to her identity, drawing us into a highly satisfying romance. CALLEN has a talent for writing strong, likable characters who arouse sympathy and then letting them loose in a wild and passionate plot. Peter Derby may have wagered he'd unmask the woman who posed nude, but he'd never imagined that the very eligible Lady Elizabeth Cabot, his child's companion, would ask him to pose as her fiancé. He got her out of scrapes when they were children, but way too far below her station to imagine anything more. Elizabeth wants a man, and Peter can help her get him by teaching her a few important lessons in love. but what neither of them expects is the passion between them that flares. How many books, how many Regency books have people pretending to be engaged or whatever, and then to help them find other people, and then they end up in love themselves? How many authors do that? Annie O'Brien, chosen for the marriage bed. Four stars. 1460 Welsh Marches. O'Brien charms readers by providing enemies can find happiness together and that love truly does conquer all, as her three-dimensional characters accept challenges that enable readers to empathize with them. The fast-paced and surprising mystery keep the pages flying. Richard Melinda, Lord of Loudonsville, has been betrothed to Maud de Lacy in hopes of bringing supporters of the House of York and King Henry VI together. Upon Maud's death, her father substitutes his niece Elizabeth as Melinda's bride. Elizabeth has been living in a priory, expecting to take her own vows as a nun. Their relationship is rocky. Elizabeth proud and stubborn, and Richard expects a certain amount of obedience from his bride. Oh, good Lord. Yeah. I'm just gonna throw this in here. It only got I usually don't do 3 stars, but she's a famous author, so I thought I would throw it in. She's done some better work than this. Marry Me. 1884, Colorado. Goodman returns to the beloved town of Reedsford, Colorado with her latest historical. This one is darker than her usual romances, with very sensitive subjects that are handled with finesse and gentleness. That is Goodman's trademark. The characters are so strongly intriguing that the readers can't help but root for them. Okay. Alright. Now, The Winter Sea, Susanna KIERSLEY, 4.5 stars. So a little bit of a time travel situation here, and I just recently did a time travel. If then, please go check that out. I found a couple of authors that I am reading now. I'm so into Julie McWane. It's an awesome series. You've got to check it out. Check out my If Then podcast, please. Susanna, The Winter Sea, Susanna KIERSLEY, 4.5 stars. Neither time travel nor gothic romance, KIERSLEY's novel is highly reminiscent of Barbara Erskine's A Lady of Hay and Mary Stewart's works, evocative novels that lift readers straight into another time and place, to smell the sea, feel the castle walls, see history, and sense every emotion. Before heading to France to start her new novel, best-selling author Carrie McMillan takes the time to visit Scotland's Slains Castle, home of her ancestor Sophia. She is inexplicably drawn to the area and decides to stay and write her next novel here. It is strange how a connection to the land and the history of the area drives her novel forward. It's almost as if she was channeling the events of 1708, when Sophia was involved at the attempt to place James Stuart on the throne of England and Scotland. Carrie meets the landlord's son, Graham Keith, and their powerful attraction seems to have something to do with the past. As the line between the past and the present blur, Carrie realizes she will not know the future until she has completed her novel. Interesting. Sophia Jordan. Wicked Nights with a Lover. the one on the end here. Four stars. What would you do if you had only a few months to live? That plot Jordan masterfully plays on in a poignant captive captor novel that strikes the right chord. Not too sentimental and just enough with sharp repartee and endearing characters. This one story readers will think about after the end. Interesting. Okay. Melanie Dobson, The Silent Order. Silent Order. Inspirational. 4.5 stars. What a wonderful book by an amazing author. In Dobson's latest offering, readers will find mystery, love, and values that have withstood the test of time. The characters are delightful, and readers get a fascinating glimpse into the underworld of gangsters during the era of Prohibition. Sugar Creek, Ohio, 1928. Kate Lemon has her own reasons why she doesn't want any English detectives near her or her son. Only a handful of people know her past, and she wants it kept that way. Rollins Wells needs to discover who a police force is aiding. Cleveland's mob family, the Cardonas. The only way he can do that is by hiding away among the Amish community. He knows that the Amish are not happy with the situation, but they will not interfere with the investigation. While he's there, he and Katie get to know one another and soon realize they may have more in common than they originally thought. Nancy Mehl, Simple Deceit. 4 stars. The second book in the Harmony series has everything Mehl fans could ask for: romance, mystery, and family secrets. The characters are well-rounded without being weighed down with boring details. The small-town values are a big part of the story. Mehl's a wonderful author who writes from the heart and is apparent throughout the book. Gracie Temple has decided to stay in Harmony, Kansas and take a freelance graphic design work to support herself. She also wants to be able to have a future with Sam Goodrich, a local farmer. When it turns out her client wants to bring tourism to this quaint town, the people are not very happy with her or the developer. When accidents begin to happen around the area, Gracie is surprised to realize that everyone suspects her. Even Sam starts to question her true motives. Can Gracie clear her name and discover the real culprit, or will she turn tail and run back to the city, letting her dreams die? Amy Clipston, A Place of Peace. 4 stars. This third book in the Kaufman Amish Bakery series, readers who haven't read the previous 2 books may be confused as characters' histories are not really explained. The love between Timothy and Miriam is apparent from the first time they see each other. The author adheres to the old plain traditions, both in relationships and the way of life of the Amish. When a heartbreaking accident happens in Miriam's lap Amish community, she blames herself and leaves for a new life. 4 years later, she gets a call that her mother has died and rushes back. Miriam mourns her mom as well as the life she left behind, which includes her one true love, Timothy Kaufman. Can your first love ever be forgotten? And a lady that is still, that's one of the reasons I'm putting this out there today, because she is still a very prevalent author today. It only got 3 stars. Sarah's Choice from Wanda Brunstetter. Unlike her other novels, the third book in Brunstetter's Brides of Lee Canal series is a bit slow to engage the readers, but biblical verses clearly demonstrates the character's faith in God and their reliance upon His Word. Age 27, Sarah Turner is trying her best to raise 3 children, since their accidental death of her husband 3 years ago. She works hard daily as the lock leader for boats in the canal. Elias Brooks plans to follow in his grandfather's footsteps after his boats were willed to him. Despite protests from his parents, he's drawn to Sarah, much to the dismay of the local blacksmith, who has had his eye on her for years. Can they get together? A little Step Over the Teens, Night Star, Allison Noel, 4 stars. An improvement over the last book in Noel's Immortus series, this Pendulum novel holds a lot more promise for a strong finale. Although Damon's secret seemed a lot less destructive than it ever was made out to be, and some decisions ever don't make sense, fans of the series will be satisfied. Convinced that Eva has killed her boyfriend Roman, Haven will do whatever it takes to kill her, even if it means revealing a dark secret from Damon's past that might tear the two apart. Eva must decide if the destruction of her former best friend is worth subjecting her to an eternity in Shadowland. And I am freezing. Ugh. Alright. Life in a Miniature. Four stars. Linda Schlashberg. Although written in the first person, Addie so often exactly equates her mother that the mother voice is present in the story. As one suspects, it is always Addie's head. It is very well written and certainly moving but depressing. Addie's mother is mentally ill, which has terrible effects on the two daughters, although the ending is not completely hopeless. Oh, okay. Addie is 12 when the story begins, her sister 15 and a half. At the beginning, their mother is in a mental hospital for a short stay. A neighbor is taking care of the girls, but soon she is out and the family, there is no father, are on the move to a new apartment. Then the older sister runs away, and instead of moving from apartment to apartment, Addie is taken by her mother to live in a hotel. Addie's mother lives surrounded by fear of things that Addie knows aren't real, but she pretends she does believe her mother is right. Addie manages to make something like a friend in most places, but as soon as they are on the run, she is forced to use an assumed name. Okay, that doesn't sound very good. Vampire Empire. Clay and Susan Griffith. Great writing, intriguing antagonists, and one scrappy heroine make this an addition to the steampunk genre. The author's take on vampires is much more classical. No sexy, sparkling teenagers here, yet they are so much more than token bad guys in this Vampire Empire series starter. Princess Adele makes a great role model for tween and teen girls, not to mention some adults. Vampires took over the livable northern lands 150 years ago, and now the humans want them back. Princess Adele of the Empire Equator is pledged in a marriage designed to unite two powerful kingdoms. It's time to wage one final war against the vampire clans. But the vampire clans caught wind of the plan and decide that the kidnapping Adele is the best way to stop the marriage and prevent the war. Okay. I need to. Laura Griffiths, Unforgivable. Yeah. There we go. 4 stars. Griffin delivers another top-level romantic suspense with her latest release. Strong characters, a tight and complex mystery plot, and non-stop action make Unforgivable a must-read. Mia Voss is having a really bad week. Her boss yells at her, she's carjacked, and then someone threatens her nephew if she doesn't destroy evidence. Committed to fighting crime as DNA technician, Mia destroying her reputation, but she must go along with the demands until she knows her family is safe. Not even the sexy detective Rick Santos can help. I don't know. Maya Banks, no place to run. 4 stars. The second in Banks' KGI series requires no preliminaries. Just fasten your seatbelt and hold on tight. Emotions run high with non-stop action and passionate romance just begging for happy ending. Sam Kelly couldn't have been more shocked to discover his former lover wounded and pregnant with his child. Sophie risked her life and the life of the baby to warn him that he's in grave danger. Having lost Sophie once, Sam has no intention of letting her go again. Uh, 3 stars. Murder in Plain Sight. I usually don't do 3s, but I just thought I'd throw that in there. Murder in Plain Sight is a wonderful tale of the strength of community even in the midst of evil. Perry weaves a complex plot full of darkness, bright faith, prejudice, and human struggle to understand it all. The Amish characterization and descriptions are slightly distracting. However, the underlying and potent meaning comes through strong and clear. Jessica Langdon is sent to Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, Amish country, to take a plea bargain in the case of teenager accused of murder. Upon meeting the boy, his family, and the woman who hired her, it's clear Jessica must defend him. Together with Trey Morgan, she battles death threats, bias, and the fear of losing her job to uncover the truth and save the boy's life. Stephanie Tyler, Promises in the Dark. Promises in the Dark. Four stars. Tyler is a master of suspense. Book 2 in the Shadow Force series has the same intense level of steamy passion and gut-clenching suspense as his predecessor. Lie with Me. A gripping and complex plot mingles well with complicated and emotional characters. Dr. Olivia Strom was abducted to serve the whims of DMH, a terrorist organization. They force drugs into her system, determined to keep her under control. But Olivia isn't willing to be their pawn. She escapes, purges the drugs from her system, and does the best she can alone in Africa. While Zane Scott arrives to rescue her, a dark secret prevents her from turning to the States. Okay. Another 3-star book. Lindsay McKenna. 3 stars. This is a pleasant story. The characters are nice, but there's a little development. The story does not have heart and will keep the reader hanging on until the end. On the run, Rachel Carson has given up any hope of a baby and family. With a new identity, she feels safe enough to help the local sheriff care for her mother's little girl. Sheriff Kate Gardner will do whatever it takes to protect little Jenny. When something seems off about the nanny who fell into their lives, Kate wants to help. He's willing to protect Rachel only if she's willing to open up and tell him the truth. Boyd Morrison, Rogue Wave. 4.5 stars. Morrison's got the magic touch with science ground action adventure. He delves deeper into disaster fiction as well as the hearts of his characters. With the precision of surgical scalpel, protagonist Kei Tanaki races across Honolulu, torn between his directive and his heart, as he tries to outrace a cataclysm that will wipe out the island, a compressed time frame, an intimate disaster that threatens millions of lives, and the characters ranging from heroic to the obnoxious amp up the tension in a breathtaking run to salvation. Even when a seismic disturbance from the Central Pacific registers in Honolulu, Keiki, the director of Pasaksami Warning Center, isn't overly worried about his wife and daughter's visit to Waikiki. However, when the center loses contact with Christmas Island, Kei realizes that Hawaii is facing an epic disaster. Now, I had this one. I don't know why I didn't pick it up. It's here someplace. If you check one of my if then, I know we did this before. I know I did it for something. Probably for the procedural. Dead Like You. I just remember seeing it so often. 4.5 stars. James is a best-selling author in Europe, and his Roy Gray series is going to be made into an ITV television show. This story is told from multiple viewpoints, and several possible killers are developed. The book is long, but the short chapters, as well as all the characters, make it quick. There are difficult scenes from the viewpoint of the victims, and the subject of rape is not sensationalized but presented in all sad horror. When Brighton detective Roy Grace is assigned to two savage rapes in which both victims have their shoes stolen, it calls to mind an unsolved series of rapes from 1997. 5 women had been victims and 1 was murdered. Is this the return of the so-called true man, or is it a copycat? If walls could talk. Julia Blackwell. Now remember, I did a video on her secondhand spirits, so please check that out. I can do this. 4 stars. If walls could talk. For the start of this new series, think DIY meets the Ghost Whisperer. Throw in a bit of murder, she wrote, and you begin to get the idea. This story is told in the first person and an easygoing manner that makes for quick reading. This is the first entry in the Haunted Home renovation series, and it looks to be a load of fun. Melanie Turner is a contractor and remodeler of classic homes in the San Francisco Bay Area and is asked by her friend Matt to rehab the house he bought. Instead of waiting for the pros, Matt and his friends decide to sort the project themselves. The demolition party turns deadly when his partner Kenneth dies in Mel's arm, following the day in the den with a nail gun. Soon Mel is caught up in a murder mystery complete with Kenneth's ghost and a host of other characters. See what happens there. This is only 3 stars, but because she is such a popular author, even today, she does a T series. I thought to include it. Bedeviled Eggs, Laura Childs. The mystery in Child's latest Cockleberry Club won't stand up to much scrutiny. Clues to the culprit are practically non-existent, and Suzanne's investigative skills rely heavily on luck and not ongoing analysis. It's easy to overlook these problems, however, because the characters are just so darn charming, and the portrait of a small-town sense of pride and community is spot on. Suzanne, Tony, and Peta are normal women with normal personal problems, and Kindred, like any small town, has its share of scoundrels and saints. Like a souffle, there's not much substance here, but it's still a tasty concoction. Okay. When a mayoral candidate is killed right outside the back door of the Cackleberry Club, owners Suzanne, Tony, and Petra find themselves up to their elbows in suspects. When Suzanne discovers a second body and Sheriff Doogie begins to doubt his investigative abilities, Suzanne is determined to solve the case. Okay. I thought I would throw this in there. This guy is such. We have people come in the shop asking for him all the time. He is such a popular author. W.E. Griffiths. We have so many of his books in the shop. So many of them. He's such a good author. So I just thought I'd throw this in. 4 stars. Griffiths combines the religious forces of Dan Brown and the biomedical angle of Michael Palmer to create his own unique hybrid in this intensely satisfying page-turner. A shepherd in Afghanistan uncovers a stone pillar with strange writing on it. Archaeologist Samantha Conway receives a call to decipher the cryptic symbols. The writing appears to be from the time of Moses, and legend says he used this device to unleash the plagues on Egypt. Now the world's most wanted terrorist seeks to utilize this pillar for a weapon that will destroy Judaism as the new plague. Ugh. Meg Benjamin, long time gone. There we go. Meg, long time gone. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5 stars. This 4th story set in Kingston, Texas has a scoop cam of humor, delightful humor and animal characters, an excellent romance, and a bit of mystery. Eric Tolson, acting chief of police of Kongsberg, is just getting to know his 3 younger brothers as adults. He hasn't always been the best big brother, but Eric is trying to mend some fences. Falling from Morgan Barrett home, who is his helping at her father's winery, is not in his plans. Discovering illegal chemicals dumping on land Morgan's father is interested in buying causes Morgan and Eric to spend more time together and explore their mutual attraction. Devoured by Darkness. Alexander Ivy, 4.5 stars. More clues to an approaching darkness are revealed in the newest installment of Ivy's long-running, consistently excellent Guardian of Eternity series. New players are added to Ivy's world, ramping up the action. Ivy always packs her books with buckets of action, emotional, and sexy sizzle puzzle, and the continuing presence of Levitt the mini gargoyle. As Sharon, a rogue vampire executioner, Tane is none too popular with his fellow vampires. His most recent assignment has him tracking a half-djinn, half-human named Lala, who was part of the recent werewolf debacle. According to the Supernatural Commission, half-djinn or abominations are not allowed to live. But feisty Layla is not going down easily. Cold-hearted Tane suddenly finds his emotions unexpectedly thawing. But is their passion doomed? Evil vampire Makira is hunting Layla for the secret she guards. And I have all those books up there. Rebecca York, Day of the Dragon, 4.5 stars. The follow-up, last year's Dragon Moon, turns the spotlight on dragon shifter Ramsay Galaxer and the aftermath of the epic battle, his evil twin Vandor. From his introduction, Ramsay is both most intriguing, clearly illuminating. York's gift for character building, the action is fast-paced as events take the protagonist on a dangerous journey. York never disappoints. In the aftermath of his defeat of Rada, Ramsay has suffered significant power loss, including his ability to shift to dragon. Ramsay is always looking for clues to his origins as he plans to attend a presentation by Dr. Madison Dartmoor on her findings in an ancient tomb in Italy, where he was found as a child. But Madison's presentation is cancelled when there is a big violent attack at the dig. In the aftermath of defeat of Vandor, Ramsay has suffered a significant. Oh, yeah, I read this right. All right, so that's how it. Okay. Now I have all the other ones. I have the other three in the series, but I don't have this last one. So it's going on my wanted list on eBay, or not eBay, Amazon. It's like I have three of these. I'm missing the last one. Like I said, I got involved with doing my own books, which were really sucky. I never should have done them. Anna Winters. Captive Spirit, 4.5 stars. Fan favorite Windsor returns with a new trilogy set in the same universe as her Bound series. The world of Dark Crescent Sisters remain troubled and a new threat is rising. The main characters here were secondary players in the previous books, and fans will be delighted by the update on former headliners. I like that. And especially in a lot of the books I read, background characters, like you have your lead characters and your background characters, and then in the second and third books, background characters move forward and the lead characters become background characters. I like that you see character progression. Lindsay's. Oh wait a minute, we were doing Captive Spirit. Though their evil nemesis, the Legion, was defeated, the cost to the Dark Crescent Sisterhood was severe. Racked by anger and guilt, Earth Sybil Bella decides to this time build not a triad but a quad, including the newly discovered Water Sybil Andy Miles. The four, Bella, Andy, Camille, and Dio, take up residence in New York City and soon learn of the dangerous new threat. Now, go back and watch my videos. I did most of this entire series. We need to really finish it up. But the Arginos and Marjorie and her matchmaking skills, these books are awesome. Please go check out all of my reviews for these. They are awesome. Got 4 stars. A great romance, a bit of suspense, and good dose of humor make this addition to Sam's vampire series a delight. The new villain and the many familiar faces create a story with great entertainment value. Marguerite Argino has gift-making from matchmaking mortals with their life mates, which is why ancient immortal Callen Valen has come to Canada to meet Alex Willen. Alex's sister Sam refuses to be turned until both of her sisters find immortal mates. Too bad Alex doesn't know about vampires. Therefore, Cole masquerades as a chef in her restaurant. But since Cole can't cook, I remember this. He ends up coming clean with her eventually. These are good stories. I love the stories. Please go check out all my videos for those. My other favorite author of all times, we did all 60 of her books. We will continue to do her books. Please check out all of those videos. I did them in order. The Other Side, J.D. Robb. I will confess that the J.D. Robb one is the only one I've read in this book. 4 stars. This time around, ghosts are on the menu for the newest anthology from this quintet of New York Times bestsellers. This combination of historical and contemporary novellas spiced with a supernatural flair is sure to please a wide variety of fans. Each author plays to her strengths, assuring plenty of spine-tingling fun. This was back in the day when we would get 3 Nora Roberts a year and 4 J.D. Robbs. We would get 2 hardcover J.D. Robbs and 2 novellas every year. But she stopped us about 20 or so books ago. But it was nice to get the 4 books. We don't get them anymore. We still get 3 Nora Roberts and 2 J.D.s, but we don't get the novellas anymore. It's amazing how fast Nora Roberts can write. I wish some of my other authors would write as fast. Rob's possession and death has Lieutenant Eve Dallas in a strange position of working to solve a murder while sharing part of her conscience with the deceased Blaney's. The Other Side of the Coin explores what happened when an enchanted coin gives an earl and his countess the opportunity to step into each other's shoes, literally. Gaffney, the dancing ghost, has a young woman hiring an spirit investigator to uncover if a house is haunted, only to discover that nothing is as it appears. In Almost Heaven, Longan follows the ghost of a newly murdered couple desperate to save their daughter from marrying the wrong man. Finally, McComas offers a reader's never too late to love and places MJ Bitterman in the awkward position of trying to tear down a house haunted by her mother and her aunts. Okay, let's see what happens there. I'll have to. I know this is in here. I wanted to do this one, and I meant to look it up. Here it is. Okay. I used to have this one too. It was one of the ones that I donated. I'm looking to get it back. If anybody has a copy and wants to give it to me, thank you. Entice Me at Twilight, Shayla Black is going on my Amazon wish list. Black mingles some of the best themes here. A little magic, romance, and gripping suspense combine to create an enchanting tale. Readers will take a step outside of the traditional story and dive into the world of Merlin, Morgana Le Fay, and dark warlords of magic. This is truly a top-notch addition to the Doomsday Brethren series. Black mingles some of the best themes here. A little magic, romance, and gripping suspense combine to create an enchanting tale. Felicia's prepared to walk down the aisle and marry a man she doesn't love. When she's not prepared for is her fiance's brother, Simon Northam, Duke of Heartsgrove, storms into their wedding, announces her life is at risk, and whisks her off. Her ability to disable magic has made her a target of the dark magician who wants to use her to enter Morgana's Le Fay tomb and retrieve the sorceress power. With it, he'll be able to rule the world. Simon Northam is committed to protecting Felicia at all costs, even if it means destroying his unattainable relationship with his brother. While ensuing her protection means they must become mated for life, Simon is prepared for the consequences unless she loves him back. Interesting. Okay, moving on. Vampires Not Invited, 4 stars. Something weird is going on. It's up to half human, half draw Nyx to draw out what it means. The versatile and talented McCrae is slowly unveiling a supernatural society fraught with menace and plagued by prejudice and discord. Her Night Tracker series continues to be fast-paced and populated with an intriguing characters. Hang on, for McCrae is about to send things into overdrive. PI Tracker Nyx is frustrated and suspicious. A gang of trouble-making spirits is attacking New York City landmarks and playing pranks. But is there more to this malicious mischief? All too soon, Nyx learns that vampires are involved, which means that the master vampire Volod is definitely up to no good as Nyx and the trackers try and sort out the mischief from mayhem. Nyx begins to realize that Volod has a devastating plan in mind, one that could endanger all the supernatural races. As far as Nyx is concerned, she's going to drive a stake through the horrific plan. And where's a pen? I need a pen. Sorry, what you see is what you get. There's no editing here. I don't know why I didn't put his... Carol Nelson Douglas. I have a few of these over there, but I don't have this one. So it's going on the want list. Silver Zombie. Four stars, Carol Nelson Douglas. There is definitely no place like home in Douglas's newest Delilah Street adventure. Throughout this series, Delilah origins and past have somewhat shrouded in mystery. Finally, readers and Delilah get some answers. Award winner Douglas places her heroine on a gut-wrenching road trip that forces her to face her deepest fears. This yellow brick road leads to zombies, vampires, and witches, oh my. Despite having faced danger in Sin City and triumph, what really has Delilah scared is returning to Kansas. But Delilah agreed to, so she's on a road in her 56 caddy named Dolly, with her boyfriend Rick Montoya and her wolfhound Quicksilver. Both Delilah and Rick are recovering from their last almost deadly adventure, but Delilah, the true horror, lies ahead. Discovering and facing what happened to her when she was a child, upon their arrival, they meet Rick's ex-FBI buddy Leonard Tallgrass, who is very interested in a cow mutilation story Delilah did before she left. The immense new Emerald City Hotel and Casino appears to be caught up in the action as Delilah and Rick attempt to uncover who's using all the zombies and why. Caitlin Kittredge, Bone Gods, 4 stars. Bone Gods drops you into London, coasting with black and revealing in the light. Kittredge has delivered an exciting, darkly humorous tale of just how someone is pushed to save the world. A dead body found in the History Museum triggers the beginning of the end, unless Pete follows her impossible task truly as a test in light versus dark. Ollie, her former partner, is finding that magic really does exist. Jack might not be as gone as Pete once thought, but being in hell changes a man. And Pete's missing mother reappears, but she is really there for her daughter or her group's misguided behavior. See about that. Okay. I think that was the end of that. Are you ready for some Harley Quinns? I love Harley Quinns. Her Christmas hero, Linda Warren. You know, there's Harlequins for cowboys. There's Harlequins for NASCAR. There's Harlequins if you want to marry a tycoon. There's Harlequins for football. There's Harlequins if you want to marry a police officer or a doctor or a lawyer, or you want to be pregnant and find love. There's all these different genres. It's just mind blowing. I did a NIF then, so please go check that out. And I listed some of the ones that existed back in 2010. I'm almost positive the amount of Harlequins has doubled since that point, but I haven't investigated yet. I know one of the thrift stores that I attend to has about 200 sitting there available for sale. The Christmas Hero, 4.5 stars by Linda Warren. All Britt Davis knows about Quentin Ross is that he dove into a raging river to save her life when her car was swept away. Then she discovers her ex-husband's attorney, and he's just made sure she loses custody of her son. Quentin is furious when he realizes he's been tricked into representing an old classmate. Taking Britt's baby from her, now he's determined to reunite them, even if it means getting disbarred. So he's the attorney. This is the attorney Harlequins. Dolores Florson, Wild Stallion. Cowboy one. Four and a half stars. Bailey Hodges will do anything and defy anyone to find the son who was stolen from her during the infamous Texas maternity hostage crisis. Jackson Malone will do anything to keep his son, the infant boy he just adopted. When Bailey invades Jackson Ranch to prove the baby is hers, his first reaction is fury, then worry, then ultimate a swift rising panic that he's about to lose his son and his heart to a woman. So just marry her. Brenda Jackson, Bachelor Unleashed. Now this only got 3 stars, and she's a really good author, so some of her other books have gotten higher ratings, but this particular one only got 3. And she was included in my Black Authors thing. In If Then. Bachelor and Niece, 3 stars. The transformation of the main relationship from purely sexual one to one based on emotion is not believable and will leave readers doubtful that the relationship will be ultimately successful. Xavier Cain and Farrah Langley become bedroom buddies because both were hurt by past relationships. But the steamy sex and multiple orgasms are not enough for Xavier and Farrah to decide if they can put their hearts on the line. Okay, that's why it only got 3 stars. Tracy Wolf, Unguarded. Uh, 4.5 stars. Nearly destroyed by violent rape a few years earlier, former investigative journalist Rhiannon Jennings now works as a party planner for her best friend because she can't stand to go back to her old job. Still tortured and living a half-life due to her experience, she's forced back into the land of the living when she meets graphic novel Sean Emerson, hired by Sean to help plan a party. Diana Palmer. No, she's a huge author. She's everywhere. I've had her books before on If Then. She's a huge author, hugely popular. There are articles about her in several of the magazines. 4.5 stars. Will of Steel. Holster Police Chief Theodore Graves doesn't have any intention of marrying Gillian Sanders, even if she can cook, until a codicil in her uncle's will makes it imperative. Either Gillian and Theodore wed, or the ranch will be turned over to a developer. While the two feel their way toward a relationship, someone is stalking Gillian and will stop at nothing to get her. Even a round-the-clock bodyguard might not be enough. Okay. Irresistible Stranger, Jennifer Green. Four and a half stars. What a wonderful book. Great voice, perfect characters, a heartwarming story, and humor all combined into a book readers won't want to put down even for a minute. Lily Campbell was just 8 when a fire destroyed her home and killed her parents, causing her and her sisters to be separated. 20 years later, Lily returns to Pecan Valley to uncover who set the fire. She meets Griff Blanchard, owner of an ice cream store, and a local bad boy who is laid back. He seems unambitious, except she realizes almost immediately that he's a total fake. Oh, yay. Cindy Kirk, The Christmas Proposition. Three stars. Handsome former professional baseball player Derek Rossi has sworn off dating for 6 months after calling off his engagement. He wants to take time and regroup until he meets the beautiful Rachel Milligan. Rachel, a nurse and foster mom to preteen Mickey, is widowed and looking and holding on to the memory of her late husband. Though she's drawn to Derek, she doesn't want to betray Tom. A lot of women are like that. Our final book, I think if I had some more of these, I would show them all. Oh, I've seen that. Oh, I'm gonna use that. Oh, I'm so gonna use that. Pleasure Bound, Opal Carew. Now I had these books. These are one of the books that I gave up, and I want them back. I want it back. I had written have back when. 4.5 stars. Steamy doesn't begin to describe the going-ons here. Contain light bondage, menage, and M&M scenes. The story is told without any of the particulars coming across as insincere or manipulated as they discover how far they are willing to go. Zeke knows he wants Marie from their first meeting, and so does her neighbor Ty. But Ty is trying to make it take it slow. Marie doesn't want it slow. She wants it now. Zeke and Ty have a history of sharing dating back to high school. Oh, I remember this. Why did I give this up? But the split in their friendship also had roots in the fact that the men had unresolved feelings for each other. It's a good book. It is. I remember it now. It's a good book. Oh, there's the convention picture that I was looking for before. Book conventions. I love book conventions. I love bookstores. Have you noticed that Barnes has become all about the presentation and not about the product? You know, you want to go in. I don't go into Barnes anymore because the product isn't there anymore. They're all about the display. You know, the turned book. Line them all up, dearie. I want the product. So, anyways, I hope you enjoyed December 2010 Book Time Reviews. My favorite magazine in the whole world. I hope you enjoyed it. We did about 3 books. And we're headed on to 2011. If you haven't seen the previous, I started in 2007. So we did 2007, 2008, 2009. We just finished 10 and we are heading into 2011. If you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. I'm hoping, I had this hope last year, and you'll watch the videos from last year. I'm begging and pleading, and it obviously didn't go anywhere. To reach 1,000 by Christmas, so I'm going to start begging now for Christmas, because last year I started September, and I was at 170 for a really, really long time. So I'm grateful that I've gotten this far, but I would like to get a little higher. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe and spread the word. Let people know I'm here. Nobody knows I'm here. I'm doing all this work and all these videos and all these different options for people with the if-thens on Fridays and the Flashback Mondays and my daily book reviews. I'm trying so hard here. So please spread the word. Thank you.